Built in Marion. Built in Marion. Built in Marion.
How you guys doing today? Welcome to Built in Marion. Today, who we have is Mr. Eric Wilkins. He is the owner of Applied Pressure in Ocala. He's been in business for about 10 years. He has a lot of good things to share with us today. So, we're going to hear his story. Go ahead, Mr. Wilkins.
My name is Eric Wilkins, and I was born in Boynton Beach, Florida. It's a city down in Palm Beach County, just north of Miami. Born there, raised there, grew up, went to school there. Then in my high school years, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, went to Murphy High School. Then I moved back home and got into some trouble. Got into some major trouble. I did some time in prison, and then I came home. Was doing pretty good, and then I got affiliated with some more guys, and dummy me, got into some more trouble. And I said to myself, that was it. I wasn't dealing with people because you just don't know what people are doing, and so that stopped me from really trusting people like I used to. I used to trust people with open arms, but after my second time in prison, that kind of eliminated all of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's something to come over, having a setback like that for a while. After getting through that, what made you want to start in Marion County?
Well, what happened, we actually had a home in Leesburg.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was also pastoring in Wildwood. And we were looking for a home, and we ran into, it was a friend of mine actually, who introduced us to the builder of this home. And then that's when we built this home, and that's when we moved to Marion County.
Okay. All right. So, you got some special expertise. What would you say to somebody that's been through a lot and had to sit down for a numerous amount of years and wanted to get started with business out here? What would be some advice you give them?
Well, the first thing I would say to the individual who want to start a business in whatever industry, go and try to work for somebody first. Try to learn that industry or whatever you're trying to get into. Try to learn that. I made a lot of mistakes. I've had a lot of successful businesses. Matter of fact, they call me King Midas because everything I touch, it turns to gold.
Okay.
But I'm the type of person that I never give up. I don't care how hard it is, how difficult it is. And I'm gonna tell you something. I share this with everybody I talk to. When I was pastoring, when I got my best sermons?
Well,
When I sat on the toilet.
I did not think you was about to say that. Okay, understood. I'm gonna take that one and put it in my back pocket.
When I sat on the toilet. So, but what God showed me in that situation, or even in those situations, is that when I'm in poop,
Mm-hmm.
That's when I perform my best. And I never knew that until it happened. And then, I'm the type of person that I look back on my life and I try to analyze why is this happening? What did I do then, to plant this seed for this to happen? And I look back in my life and I see certain things happen when I was in messed up situations. Every time I was in a mess, God always gave me a message. And I look back on things, even now, even to this day, I look back on things and I see how God delivered me out of a mess. And just here recently, man, I had to look back on some things because I was going through a moment, and I had to really look back and see what God had did then, you know, to make a promise to myself or to convince myself, well, if God did it then in that situation, he'll do the same thing in this situation that I now find myself in, or that I found myself in at that moment.
Yes, sir. I understand that. I can definitely agree with that. Um, before I ask you something else, I wanna ask you another question about what you said. You said you got your best messages on the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so like when in those moments of deep meditation, um, what would you say? Have you ever like came across why when people try so hard, why they don't make it? Like why they don't get it done in business? Like usually, what do they do wrong?
Most people, the reason why they don't make it, and the only reason why they don't make it, is because they give up. You should never give. My mentor, Jeffrey Blackman, he's my mentor in the pressure washing game. He lives in Houston, Texas. When I first got into pressure washing, I had to fly all the way out. Now, notice I said I had to. I had to fly all the way out to Texas, and he sat me down and he talked with me. And he, in some, I'm not gonna give you everything he said, but in so many words, he told me, dude, it's gonna get hard. It's gonna be some times when you want to throw in the towel, but just don't give up. And at that time, I had one truck, and it got hard, like he said. I wanted to throw in. Matter of fact, the truck that I had, it was in the shop more than I was working, and you know, I just wanted to throw in the towel. You know, I wanted to quit, but I always remember what he said: "Don't give up, never give up." And that's where people. I mean, I don't care how hard it got me, dude. It was at times when I was pawning stuff to make it, to pay ends meet, or to make payroll, to pay guys who I had to, you know, that was working for me. So it was, yeah, it was just that bad. But the thing is, when you're in business, you do what it takes because you have other people that are working for you, depending on you. So with that in mind, about never giving up, I had to make a way to get their pay, no matter what it was, no matter what it cost me. I had to make a way for them.
That's what's up. I understand. Um, yeah, in my little short time in business, I've had a little experience with that, so I understand, and it's definitely something you have to be willing to do in business. You have to be willing to go the extra mile for the people that are depending on you.
Right.
So, King Midas, what are some of the other businesses that you had?
I've had a trucking business. We had a trucking business. I've trucked for 20 years, and trucking was great to me. I mean, it was really great to me. We started off with one rig, and I think we ended up somewhere with 3 rigs that we had at the time. And then we started hiring people, um, and they were just having like accidents after accidents. And my insurance that we had at the time, they wrote me a letter. I never forget this, man, because it was a very breaking point. They wrote us a letter, and they told us that they was no longer going to be able to insure us, and that we had to find other insurance. And I was trying to find other insurance, but being that my score, my safety score was so high because of all the accidents that the drivers was having and the malfunctions with the trucks, my safety score was so high, nobody wouldn't take us.
Mm-hmm.
And or if they did take us, it was sky high that I couldn't afford it. So that I had to switch everything over into my wife's name, everything. all the trucks, all the trailers, total business. We had to change the business name. We went from EW Transportation to HM Express, which H stands for Hattie. It was Hattie's Motor Express is what it was. And we stayed in business about, I don't know, probably about another year or two. And I told my wife it was time to exit. It was time to get out of business. I couldn't take it no longer.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, what would you say was the most hardest situation or obstacle that you had along the way? You've been in business over 20 years.
Right.
What's the hardest thing you've had to go through and overcome as a business owner?
I think the hardest thing I had to go through is basically dealing with a system that is not prepared for people like me. I deal with this every day with this system. And I think even though there is a system that is put in place, many people deny it, but I know it's there. I see it because I deal with it every day. Even though this system is put in place to make people that look like me fail, I still find a way to overcome that system and to beat that system. Has it been hard? Yes, it has been real hard. But I always remember in the back of my mind that what he told me, Jeffrey Blackman, to never give up. So you find ways around things that are hurdles. Sometimes you don't go over the hurdles. Sometimes you got to go around. You got to go under. You know, all hurdles are not meant to be jumped. Sometimes, like I said previously, you have to go around them or you have to go over them. And that's what you got to do. You just got to find out what way that you're going to handle this situation, and you have to deal with it. You have to deal with it.
That's good. Yeah, all hurdles are not meant to be jumped, so you got to go around.
Right.
Okay. So what's next in business for you? Like, what's the next big thing?
I'm not really gonna say, but I do got something in mind. I don't want to tell my moves because I got people that are watching me. You have haters. I heard somebody say, if you don't have haters, you ain't doing it right. You know. So yeah, we do have some big things coming up, and I thank God for it. Matter of fact, I can't tell you this because we got this locked in. We're about to head down to Homestead here in a couple weeks. We got a really big HOA project down there we got to clean up. So yeah, thank you, appreciate it. And we see. I'm gonna tell you, I learned this. Can I give you some street knowledge? When I was in the streets, I did my thing. I was in California, and when things got dry in Cali, you got to learn how to move and know where to move to get you some money.
Okay.
And I've been in New York. I've been Louisiana. I've been to Texas, Ohio. And the thing with it, I hear people talk and they say, oh man, you can't go here, you can't go there. I can go anywhere my feet takes me. I can walk in any room where my feet take me, and I'm going to be accepted, because you can't go to somebody else's neighborhood and try to run it. You got to come as a friend to be a friend. And so in the industry, the pressure washing industry, I use that same knowledge. Sometimes it gets dry here in Ocala, or the system tries to block you out in Ocala. And this is one of those hurdles. Okay, they put a hurdle up, the system, I make my lane. I always say I travel from Key West all the way up to Atlanta, Georgia, as long as the money is there and it's paying. We do HOA projects in Palm Beach County. We do down in Miami-Dade, Fulton County. We have projects that we do up there. But you have to learn, and this is what I tell people. They say, I ask them, I say, well, how far do you travel? You don't have to travel like I travel, But I say, how far do you travel? Oh, we travel 10, 15 miles out. I say, well, you might need to travel about 20, 25 miles out. Go out just a little bit further. Oh, we can't go that far. So, but I've learned that when it's dry where you're at, you got to branch out. You got to go to other cities because it's money everywhere. I don't care what you're doing, how you're doing it. It's money everywhere. You just got to learn how to be mobile, and you got to be willing to take that chance, because if you're afraid to take a chance, you will not succeed. I don't care what industry you're in. You got to be willing to gamble.